The Colorado River, on a bright June afternoon, appears almost serene, its surface sparkling as sunlight dances across the gentle ripples. To the casual observer, it's a scene of tranquility, a place where families picnic on the banks and adventurers set out for a day of excitement. But this river, so inviting on the surface, holds secrets beneath its shimmering facade. Towering canyon walls rise high above, their ancient stone faces carved by centuries of relentless water. The river winds through these canyons, its path shaped by both time and the raw power of nature. Yet beneath that breathtaking beauty is a force that demands respect, a wild, unpredictable power that punishes even the smallest mistakes. The currents here can shift in an instant, transforming placid water into a churning, dangerous torrent. On June 1st, 2024, that hidden power would reveal itself, turning what began as a day of adventure into a scene of chaos and heartbreak. The river's fury would test the limits of human endurance and courage. Swollen with the icy runoff of spring snowmelt, the Colorado surged faster and colder than usual. Every submerged boulder, every swirling eddy became a lurking hazard, unseen, unpredictable, and deadly. Near the border of Grand and Eagle counties, three friends in a raft approached Yarmany Rapid, a notorious stretch where the river's calm mask slips away, replaced by chaos and noise. Here the water accelerates, crashing over rocks and creating waves that can overturn even the most experienced rafters. In a matter of seconds, their journey shifted from exhilaration to terror. The raft was caught in the whitewater, tossed and spun by the relentless current. Suddenly, it flipped, and the men were thrown into the freezing, turbulent river. The shock of the cold water stole their breath as they fought to stay afloat, swept downstream by the merciless current. Panic and instinct collided as they struggled to reach safety. What followed was a frantic struggle, rescue teams racing against time, families and friends watching in horror, and a community left reeling from the sudden tragedy. The river, indifferent to human plans, had claimed another chapter in its long, unpredictable story. On the Colorado, beauty and danger are forever intertwined. For those who venture onto its waters, the price of misjudgment can be the ultimate one, a sobering reminder that nature's power is never to be underestimated. The three men on the river that day were experienced outdoorsmen, friends seeking the thrill and peace of Colorado's wild places. Brent Bolter, 56 from Aurora, and Thomas Russell, 61 from Littleton, set out with a third companion whose name remains private. Their plan was simple: float a stretch of river, enjoy the scenery, and make memories. But one critical oversight would prove fatal. Neither Brent nor Thomas wore a life jacket, only the third man did. In the cold, fast water, a life jacket is not just a precaution, it's a lifeline. Without it, even strong swimmers are at the river's mercy. That missing piece of gear would turn a dangerous situation into a deadly one. For Brent and Thomas, the river's power would prove overwhelming. Disaster struck at 3:40 p.m. on what had started as a bright, promising afternoon along the Colorado River. The air was filled with the sounds of rushing water and laughter, as three friends set out for what they hoped would be an exhilarating adventure. But in an instant, everything changed. As the raft entered the notorious Yarmany Rapid, the mood shifted. The river, swollen from recent rains, was more powerful than usual, its surface churning with hidden dangers beneath. Suddenly the water surged violently. The raft was no match for the force of the rapid. It flipped without warning, tossing all three men into the icy, relentless current. The shock of the cold water stole their breath as they fought to stay afloat. Only one of them, the sole man wearing a life jacket, managed to keep his head above water. Battling the current, he struggled toward the riverbank, finally pulling himself to safety, gasping for air and looking back in horror. Brent Bolter, caught in the swirling water, was pulled from the river by emergency responders. He was unresponsive, his body limp from the ordeal. On the riverbank, bystanders and emergency crews sprang into action. They performed CPR, their faces etched with desperation, as precious minutes ticked by. Despite their efforts, Brent could not be revived. He was pronounced dead at the scene, leaving those around him in shock and disbelief. Meanwhile, Thomas Russell was nowhere to be found. The current had swept him away in seconds, and he vanished from sight, leaving behind only ripples on the surface. The riverbank was a scene of chaos and heartbreak. One man, safe but trembling and in shock, stared blankly at the water. Another lay lifeless, and a third was missing, his fate unknown. The weight of the tragedy settled over everyone present. What began as a rescue mission quickly turned into a grim search for a body. Search and rescue teams launched boats and scoured the river, hoping for a miracle but fearing the worst. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the water, hope faded. The community gathered at the riverbank, united in grief and uncertainty, bracing themselves for the difficult days ahead. In just a matter of minutes, the Colorado River had claimed 2 lives, leaving a void that would be felt for years to come. A makeshift memorial began to take shape, a silent tribute to those lost. The lone survivor, shaken and haunted by what he had witnessed, would become the only living witness to those frantic, terrifying moments. His account would help piece together the story of what happened that day. The tragedy was not just a single event, but a cascade of loss and heartbreak that rippled through the entire community. Friends, family, and strangers alike mourned together, searching for answers and comfort. The Colorado River, beautiful yet unpredictable, had revealed its hidden fury. Its powerful currents had left a permanent mark on all who witnessed the events of that day. As dawn broke the next morning, search teams returned to the river, determined to find Thomas Russell. The search was just beginning, and the river's secrets were not yet fully revealed. News of the tragedy triggered a massive, multi-agency search. Teams from Grand and Eagle counties, fire departments, and volunteers scoured the river by raft, kayak, and on foot. Drones and even a railroad vehicle were used to cover the vast, rugged terrain. The river was high, fast, and murky, conditions that made the search dangerous and difficult. Crews focused on the stretch from Radium to 2 bridges, including Yarmany Rapid. Despite days of relentless effort, there was no sign of Thomas Russell. The river, swollen and cold, refused to give him up. As days passed, the search was scaled back. For Russell's family, the waiting and uncertainty became a new kind of grief. The Colorado had claimed another secret, leaving loved ones in limbo. Gore Canyon is legendary, one of the most challenging stretches of river in the country. Its beauty hides danger, narrow walls, violent rapids, and icy water. The accident happened just upstream at Yarmany Rapid, rated Class 2, but far more dangerous when the river runs high. On that day, the water was powerful and cold, making self-rescue nearly impossible without a life jacket. Hypothermia and exhaustion set in quickly in such conditions. Commercial rafting companies enforce strict safety rules: helmets, life jackets, experienced guides. For private boaters, safety is their own responsibility. The decision to forego life jackets was a fatal miscalculation. In Gore Canyon, a life jacket isn't just recommended, it's essential. The river's power leaves no room for error. For nearly a year, Thomas Russell's fate remained a mystery. His family clung to hope, searching for answers that never seemed to come. Each day, they faced the agonizing uncertainty of not knowing what had happened, their lives suspended between hope and despair. The river flowed on, indifferent to the pain it had caused, its waters concealing the truth. The family was left in painful uncertainty, haunted by questions and memories of Thomas. Then, in May 2025, as the spring sun melted mountain snow and water levels dropped, a body was discovered near Rancho del Rio, 8 miles downstream from where Thomas was last seen. The river, which had hidden its secret for so long, finally revealed a clue. The discovery brought a bittersweet end to the search. Relief mingled with sorrow as the family and community gathered by the riverbank, processing the news they had both dreaded and longed for. Authorities quickly suspected it was Russell, and dental records confirmed the identification. The process was swift, but the reality was heavy. There would be no more searching, no more waiting for a miracle. The family finally had closure, though the pain of loss was renewed. Grief washed over them, but so did a sense of peace, knowing Thomas had been found and could be laid to rest. The river had carried him far, holding its secret for 355 days. Its currents, unpredictable and powerful, had shaped the course of so many lives along its banks. The official confirmation allowed loved ones to lay him to rest. They gathered by the water, sharing memories and saying their final goodbyes, honoring Thomas's life and the journey that had brought them here. The story was a stark reminder of the river's power and the finality of a single mistake. Nature's beauty can be deceptive, and the river's strength is both awe-inspiring and unforgiving. The Colorado had finally relinquished its hold, returning Thomas to those who loved him. The river, once a source of anguish, now became a place of remembrance and reflection. The community mourned, but at last, there was an answer. In the gentle light of the vigil, friends and family found comfort in each other, united by loss, but also by the closure they had so desperately needed. The discovery of Thomas Russell's body reignited the conversation about river safety. Officials stressed the critical lesson: life jackets save lives. The tragedy became a cautionary tale for rafters and kayakers across Colorado. Nature doesn't care about experience or intent. The river's current is indifferent. A personal flotation device is the single most important piece of gear on the water. Preparation, awareness, and respect for the river are essential. The wild beauty of the Colorado draws adventurers but demands humility and caution. The story of Brent Bolter and Thomas Russell is now part of the river's legacy. It's a somber reminder of the thin line between adventure and disaster. On wild rivers, safety must always come first.